I think being a military spouse can teach you a lot of things. I had no idea about the military when I entered into this relationship with my husband. And I watched him go up through the ranks, and I've watched how he's developed his leadership skills. I've watched how he's managed troops beneath him. And it's really inspiring. We have long, long talks about the difference between the private sector and military service, but there's a lot of things that I've learned from him about how to motivate people, how to provide good, consistent leadership, how to give feedback to get the kind of performance that you need. And all of those things I think have been really helpful for me in transitioning from a researcher to somebody who's now leading an organization and, quite frankly, mentoring staff to grow into the next generation of leaders. On the whole, I think I'm very optimistic about the future of being able to be a professional and a military spouse. Again, I think that the advances in technology, the globalness of our society, have really lent themselves to opportunities that weren't there for the generations before us. I also think that there are far more opportunities out there. Living in the area that we live in, it is very common to have regular conventions that are job fairs for military spouses. So I think there's a lot more emphasis being paid to having professional careers, professional spouses. But I also think there's some disadvantages still. It is very eye-opening and perhaps one of the hardest things for me to deal with as a professional, that as a military spouse, the military itself as an institution still views me as the primary caregiver. There's not a lot of flexibility there for my spouse, even if he wanted to be a part. So when there's a sick child, if I have a meeting that I have to attend and he has a meeting, I have to cancel my meeting or I have to make alternative arrangements. And I think that's still a big barrier that we have to work on. There has to be some kind of equality in this if it's going to be successful. It's not to say that you can't get past it, but it does make it far more challenging than it needs to be. One of the things that I think makes a military spouse attractive to an employer is that you know they've got good time management skills. They can juggle a million different tasks and generally pull it off with grace. It's an incredibly unique talent that I think we bring to the professional field.